season. Jose, hello. Good to see you back. You're back, and of course, unfortunately, but did you manage to change everything? Is everything all right?
Yeah, I have a problem in the warm-up with the gearbox. I don't have time to change for the quali, and we'll see what's happening in the third race. I hope to pass the other pilots and hope uh, to start in the pole in the second race to the Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good plan because if he finishes on 8th position, then he's going to be in the reverse grid race on pole position. He had a spectacular season last season, so many podiums, and of course, because of that, he earned it to be a Titan driver. Is there any difference for you right now on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's very difficult. The people in Tita. For me, it's good. It's more experience, and for me, with the pilot, is a good performance to compete with the other guys in the front.
Absolutely. Good luck for that. So he's one of the Titans right now, and we're going to welcome our commentators. It's Fonsi Sebrian in Spanish, it's Joachim Ebi Eberts in German, and of course Chess Draker, the voice in English. Everyone, welcome.
Hello, Christina, and hello, everybody. Welcome to the grid of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. I certainly want to know more about whatever the heck that thing was. That was certainly one of the most interesting things we've seen on the grid. According to our director, Sebastian, it's me. And, well, I used to have a figure like that, but not these days, I'm afraid, Sebastian. There's René Reinert's machine, number 77, took the race win yesterday in race number 2, and he's going to be hoping to repeat that later on today. There's the number 18 of John Newell. He was fighting very hard to get through into qualifying 2 in that earlier session, but unfortunately couldn't make it work in the end. He and Sasha are both hoping to basically work on the trucks between the 2 weeks that we have now until the Slovakia ring. This is the circuit where we are this time round, though, the Lausitzring. What a fantastic circuit this has been to us so far. The first sector and the third sector, mighty tough and twisty. Lots of setup changes needed there to manage the weight transfer of these trucks as 5 tons goes suddenly from right to left again. And even the little sort of jump back onto the banking between turns 5 and 6, just at the bottom of that graphic there. Turn 6 is a very wide corner on the way in, but it tightens on the exit, and the drivers have to be very careful not to make contact through there. Most of the overtaking we've seen has been in the final sector, down at turns 8, 9, and 10. There's been the odd manoeuvre here and there into turn 1 as well as they go late on the brakes. Speaking of turn 1, we'll have to be careful in this race as they have a yellow flag start procedure, basically because of how wide these trucks are and how large they are in general, and how narrow turn 1 is. We are going under yellow flag conditions into turn 1 to make sure that there's no incidents, no accidents, and nothing untoward happens. Once the race is through turn 1, we're all good to go. As you can see, though, there's a lot of cloud at the moment, and it is very tough for the drivers to judge what is going on. The weather can change very quickly in this part of the world, as we've seen at the Nürburgring many times before. Looks like somebody's been doing some fantastic donuts down the start-finish straight, but how cool are these drone shots here? You can see a lot of the fans making sure they're undercover for these races. They're not braving it out at the very front of the grandstand. Someone who's going to be hoping to brave it out at the front of his class in this race is going to be John Newell. He's with Christina.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we're really looking forward to that race. But what kind of problems are you dealing with right now?
We're dealing with a lot of problems. It's a new truck, and we've got major issues with it, and we haven't got the parts here that we need to change it all. It was rough in Mazzano, but it's been even worse here. So we just have to keep finishing, get the parts, and then we can go.
But you will not find the parts during this day, I suppose, but for the next weekend. So what is the best outcome that you're expecting?
Just if we could get a couple of places forward, that's probably the best we can hope for, because obviously it's a major change we need to do to the truck. With it being a new truck, we tried it. It hasn't worked, so we need to go back and reassess and make new parts, and then we should be ready for Slovakia.
Absolutely. Do you have a rain setup, or is it more the cloudy and fingers crossed for a dry condition setup?
No, it's the setups in between, because it's just safer with truck to make sure it finishes and just gather some points, that's all.
All right. Thank you very much. In between, that sounds good.
Very northern John Newell with truck. I love it. I really, really love it. Right then, we have plenty more drivers all lined up and ready to go. Louis Requenco just having a quick briefing there with one of his engineers, having a quick chat ahead of the race. Either that or they're deciding what they're having for dinner tonight. There's Brandon as well. Love Brandon. He's a great, great bloke to have in the paddock. He's such an enthusiast for truck racing, and you know everybody here is. But honestly, the first time I spoke to Brandon at the Nürburgring, he was just so excited about everything that was going on. Even though he's been doing it for a while, you know, he's just so in love with this sport and what it brings, and it's just so wonderful. He really does encapsulate that. Look at the size of the wind farm there behind the grandstand. It really is quite a compact area, is the Lausitzring. There's a lot goes on at this circuit in one very small space. So, yeah, it's a really, really great track to come to. There you go. There's another shot of it with the drone. You can see the massive paddock here. We're sharing the paddock this weekend with DTM. So we have a very busy schedule on our hands. And lots to look at, lots to listen to. The wonderful GT3 cars are on the circuit as well with us this weekend. So there's the fantastic noise of their V8s, V10s, some turbocharged V6s as well. But yeah, we'll quickly go back down to the grid and speak to Christina, shall we?
Yeah, the doors are closing. So right now everyone is in the concentration mode. And as we go, the personnel is right now leaving the grid. This is what happens right before the race. Right now the drivers do have that time to get in their zone, get in focus, last decisions made. Right now it's just up time for racing.
Yeah, it all just comes alive on the grid, doesn't it, at this start of the weekend? Well, start of the important parts of the weekend, the races themselves. Here is the Ford F-Max, another important part of our weekend. This is the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. International Truck of the Year in 2019, the Ford F-Max. And this inspection lap forms an integral part of our race weekend to ensure there's nothing on the circuit that shouldn't be there, while also undermining our green screening graphics. May Fisher at the wheel. May is another one of the wonderful people in the paddock who absolutely adores this championship and all of the truck racing in the industry. And she puts this thing through its paces around the track. It's great to see. We have two of these F-Maxes in the paddock. We have this orange one and a blue and white one in the fan village as well. So if you do head to any of our events this year, make sure that you do check out the fan village and come and see us. And come and see the Ford F-Max as well. It's a very well-prepared bit of kit. It's very well looked after as well. Like I say, while it has its head kicked in around the circuits here by May, it is a very well-pampered machine, is the F-Max. We have the 3-minute board in the air. The grid will be cleared in just a moment. And then we'll be ready for race number 3 here this weekend at the Lausitzring, round number 7 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Thank you very much to May for the inspection lap. She's determined that the circuit is clear and is all golden. And we'll be led away in a moment by our pace truck before Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn, 2 6-time champions, lead us away from the front end. There is the Iveco pace truck, the S-E-Way, fully electric pace truck for this year. It's a wonderful bit of kit, and we are very grateful to Iveco for being continued partners of the championship. And as always, we have phenomenal support from them and their wonderful brand. Nico at the wheel of the Iveco this morning. Norbert Kisch then starts on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him on the front row. The two of them have had more front rows than I've had hot dinners in the last few years. Steffi Halm is alongside Antonio Albacete, Another pair of drivers that are always up at the sharp end, ready for a fight. René Reinert next up after his race win yesterday. He will be reinvigorated for this one and certainly up for a fight himself. So too will Sasha Lenz as well. Sasha not having the qualifying that he would have wanted, but they look forward to the Slovakia ring where they can make some changes before then. Mark Taylor leads the Chrome class with Louis Requenco just behind him. The two of them really hoping to get an extra win in the bag here in Germany. Bradley Smith next up took his first ever Chrome win yesterday. It was a very popular victory. He and Mark Taylor swapped to first and a second. He's got Clemens Hecker alongside him. Luke Garrett did not make it out onto the grid, and by the look of it, he's not there now either. Unfortunately, he's got Stefan Faas alongside him, with John Newell in 13th and Christian Ruppert lining up in 14th place. And at the back of the grid, we should have, yes we do, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez after their gearbox change just earlier on. A big shame not to have Luke out on the circuit. One of his engineers, a good friend of mine, Daryl Stamp, has messaged saying that it's related to steering issues. He said they are absolutely gutted after finishing 11th in qualifying as well, getting up into Q2. Showing great promise and continued development for that truck. All the teams and engineers waiting almost nervously now in the pit lane before we get this race underway. We're told that there will be a space left where Luke would have been on the rolling start. You can see Stefan Faas in the Freightliner, the red, silver and yellow machine in the background. There is a space next to him. So John Newell has a good space to head into when they get down towards turn 1. I'm delighted to all tell you that I have my graphics man back with me today. My good mate Patrick at Viga. We had Marcel doing the graphics yesterday and doing a fine job indeed. Patrick is here ready to try and catch me out with the HVO diesel banners that come up on the bottom of the screen. There's a little puff of smoke from Jochen Hahn's machine there. Not quite sure whether that was down to the brakes or the engine. Didn't seem to lose any pace or anything while he did it. Either way, race number 1 of the day and round number 7 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway, and everybody over the left-hand side of the grid gradually filters their way over to the right, down towards turn 1, and due to the yellow flag conditions, we remain in order. It's all single file, and then off you go. Look at them snaking their way through turns 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic sight indeed. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez seemingly held up a little bit there by Christian Ruppert as he gets up to speed. And now everybody starts to line up their attacks and prepare for the start of this race. Norbert Kish leads, Jochen Hahn second, Steffi Halm third, Antonio Albacete fourth, with René Reinert and Sasha Lenz completing the top 6 drivers that made it through into Q3. Then it's Mark Taylor and Louis Requenco leading the Chrome class to begin with. Bradley Smith next up behind them with pressure from Clemens Hecker, then Stefan Faas. Sasha Lenz looking like he wants to try and get past René Reinert in the opening moments. But race 3 is well and truly underway. Down the back straight they go for the first time towards turn 8. One of the key corners on the circuit. It's a heavy braking zone with a very important acceleration zone on the exit. They're all getting wider and wider there as the penalty markers, I'm sure, will go flying soon. Now everybody keeping it nice and tucked in. Good stuff. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has gotten ahead of Christian Ruppert. And Norbert Kish has only opened up a gap of about a length over Jochen Hahn. Just looking there at the gaps and the timing, it looks like Antonio Albacete has had a good first few sectors. Purple middle sector actually by Jochen Hahn. He was the only driver in the 27.7s. Looked like there was a bit of moisture there on the grid. I wonder whether that's what we saw from Jochen Hahn's truck earlier on. Not any smoke or anything like that. Maybe just driving over a slight puddle on the circuit. There was a little bit of rain falling earlier on today, but not really enough to cause a puddle, I would have thought. Love that shot though as they head away from the grandstands. Left, right, left. Through the first sector, you hear the chirps of the turbocharger there on Norbert Kish's MAN. The turbochargers on these things are bigger than your head. They're absolutely ridiculous bits of kit. The boost pipes as well. You could probably get your forearm down the boost pipe. It's crazy. Wonderful racing machines, these trucks. They can be fickle, they can be fragile. And it looked like Antonio Albacetti's attack there to try and chase down Steffi Halm was a little bit fragile. He dived into turn 6, but then the truck really didn't behave itself on the front axle. It was bobbling around. Louis Requenco looking racy behind Mark Taylor as well. He wants to try and take a position away from the current Chrome Championship leader. Mark has just 1 point over Bradley Smith, 65 to 64. Louis Requenco has just 1 podium to his name in Chrome this season. He's on 34 points, nearly half of that Mark has. You can see Antonio has fallen away from Steffi Halm slightly here. Antonio wanting to try and catch back up. We've had a penalty marker warning for Stefan Fass, truck 24. As look how wide Antonio runs it through there. Tries to use all of the circuit. But Steffi definitely getting away on that second lap of the race. René Reinert now looking a bit racy behind the Spaniard. Right up with him as they head through turn 1. René will be even more spurred on by taking his first victory in many years yesterday afternoon. The first non-Norbert Kish race win of the season. And it was still done in an ex-Norbert Kish race truck. Baloo Senior, as it's known. And there you see Sasha just clinging on to the back of that group there. René's partner again, willing him on in this race. We saw some fantastic reactions from her in the pit lane yesterday when René was making his way through the order and getting into the race lead eventually to go on and take the win. At the moment, he's right behind 3-time champion Antonio Albacetti, just ahead of Sasha Lenz. Sasha has been one of the front runners for many years now in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, just hasn't quite had the whole package to come together and get him a championship win. Stefan Fass has got ahead of John Newell by the look of it. There they are. John has lost the place to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Stefan Fass on that last lap. Norbert Kish still leads then. 1.5 seconds over Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm in 3rd place. And then this trio here, Antonio Albacetti, René Reinert and Sasha Lenz, all trying to just see who blinks first, see who cracks first. There's a black and white flag going out. I think that might be because of the penalty marker for Stefan Fass. That's his first warning of that kind. And while sticking to the track limits may not have been so clean on that lap, the trucks are all very clean and good for the environment, effectively. Running on 100% renewable HVO diesel. Sebastian certainly making sure that we get Patrick doing the work today. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on his fight back through the order, though. He's made his way up into 11th position. It'll be interesting to see if he can get up to 8th. That would give him reverse grid pole for race 2. Let's not forget that later on this afternoon, we have the second race of the day, the broadcast for which is due to start just before 5 p.m. UK time, just before 6 p.m. in Germany. It'll be a late night for the teams, this one. But for that race, we have the top 8 on the grid reversed. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez sporting almost his trademark bodywork shedding MAN. More bodywork flapping away off that truck. But Jose Eduardo, we admire how much of a hard fighter he is. He is one of those drivers that will really send it down the inside and make the moves that others might back out from. We've got a long old time before we get to the end of this race day, though. And I think the teams, while sharing the circuit and the paddock with another couple of championships, will be quite grateful for that in a way, because it means that there's more gaps between the races. It's longer to get things settled. I know that some of the teams that love to sort of have a rapid, busy weekend, and they don't like to sit around waiting if they've not got a massive amount to do. I know that they may not quite enjoy that so much. As we look here at Antonio Albacete and René Reinert. Both have been doing this a while. I believe this season will be Antonio's 26th year in truck racing, is it? Let me just check. 28. He's a three-time champion, winning the championship in 2005, 6 and 10. Took a break in 2016. Then came back to us for another campaign. A load of smoke there from Jochen Hahn as he heads into turn 6. I think he made a little bit of a mistake. You could hear the tyres squealing. He's definitely pushing to go chasing after Norbert Kisch. He was only 0.3 of a second off on that last lap, so he's not completely falling by the wayside. There's a little look in the background at turn 1. Stefan Faas running deep. John Newell tries to have a look down the inside. It doesn't work. And that was on the previous lap, and apparently now Stefan Faas, something's broken. Something has broken, and he's gone straight on there over the grass. Apparently he has come into the pit lane. That is a massive shame. More problems for Stefan Faas. Apparently not in the pit lane, but he has slowed down and is still on the circuit, but has slowed down, unfortunately. That is just another setback for the team with this brand new truck. They had a lot of technical issues with that Scania last year. Then they moved on to the Freightliner, hoping for a new challenge this year. It was amazing when they unveiled it. Everybody had to pick their jaws up off the floor. It was such a radical change. But now, unfortunately, for Stefan, it has proved to be more of a pain than the previous truck. Look at how far back Jose Eduardo Rodriguez came from there. Wow, he was almost in Misano when he hit the brakes. But he gets it done. Clemens Hecker knows that he doesn't need to fight that one. He's not in the same class in the championship as him. So he says, you know what? I'm not picking that battle. But look at that. Look at the blue, white, and red machine there. You can see he lines it up early. He looks to the inside. Goes as late as he can. Lovely. Clemens Hecker turns in a little bit late. Leaves him the room down the inside. Great respect. To be fair, great respect by the two of them there as well, because Jose Eduardo made that very clear what he wanted to do. And he now moves up into 10th position, hoping to get up into 8th place, which would then, of course, give him reverse grid pole. That currently is going to Louis Requenco, and with Mark Taylor in 7th, Mark is on for his second front row start of the weekend. As things stand, we're nearing the halfway point of the race here, round number 7 of the championship this year. Second race meeting here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from the Lausitzring. And apparently Stefan Faas has now stopped on the circuit. He has stopped near where the camera picked him up, actually down at turn 5. So he will once again be out of this race. It's just devastating stuff. Antonio Albacete is held on ahead of René Reinert and Sascha Lenz. The two of them can't seemingly do enough at the moment to get back with the Spaniard. Mark Taylor going well at the front of the Chrome class, though, in Truck 81. He's cleared off from Louis Requenco, who seems to be under pressure now from fellow Iveco driver Bradley Smith. Bradley doing whatever he can do to fill the mirrors of the number 64 in front of him. But Louis' pace has been really promising this weekend. He got his first podium of the day yesterday afternoon. And he wants another one now. He was 3rd place yesterday, though, so he wants to improve it by 1 here and go up to 2nd. Can Bradley stop that, though? He needs to think about chasing down Mark Taylor in the championship. There is Stefan Faas, or at least Stefan's truck at the side of the road. Stefan no longer in that machine. He will be absolutely gutted. Not sure if there's some smoke or something coming from it there. It looked like there was something coming from the top of the cab. Hopefully just steam from the brakes. They have water-cooled brakes in this championship. You'll see sometimes there. I mean, you can see it on Nobby's truck now. Once they exit the corner, there's a colossal amount of steam comes off the trucks as the brakes get cooled down, ready for the next braking zone. always looks quite fascinating. And it's funny, sometimes at the end of a race, you'll see them creeping into the pit lane with a small trickle of water following along in their wheel tracks. But Norbert Kish leads the way over halfway through this race. Jochen Hahn in second. Steffi Halm. Great job so far by Steffi in third place. She has 3 podiums so far this season. Jochen Hahn has 4. Norbert Kish has 5. Didn't finish on the podium yesterday. None of them did, actually. The podium yesterday afternoon was René Reinert ahead of Mark Taylor, getting his first podium of the year. And then Sascha Lenz in third place, on the way to his second podium of the championship. The real thorn in the side for Bradley Smith at the moment, though, is what does he do about Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind him? Does Jose Eduardo get involved in this fight? You could very easily try and just send a move down the inside of Bradley here into turn 6. What's holding Bradley back at the moment, though, is he's got 4 podium finishes like Mark. Mark had 2 DNFs at Misano, but Bradley then didn't capitalise and got a 7th and a 4th. Those 2 results at the moment, not haunting him as such, but they are the results that stand out. So he's hoping now to get another podium on the board. This, if he finishes where he is now, it'd be his first third-place finish in the season. He's been on the podium 4 times, but only been first or second. Like I say, race 3 at Misano, he was 7th. Race 4, he finished in 4th place, just off the podium. Mark Taylor, though, commanding the Chrome Championship in this race. He's a few seconds ahead of Louis Requenco, a good 3.5. And he wants to make sure that he holds that championship lead as we leave round number 2. Bradley Smith now will be watching his mirrors, because Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is looking very fired up to try and make a move. Not close enough there this time round, though. Clemens Hecker is also in the picture as well. He's not gone anywhere, has he? Still waiting to see whether he can capitalise on any mistakes or battles from these guys. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez with that bit of bodywork flapping away. It's almost as if that bumper has been designed to be in 3 pieces rather than one solid bumper. It's as if they've designed those corner panels to just pop away when there is contact. They are only fiberglass at the end of the day. The aerodynamics on these trucks, not paramount importance, but it obviously does help, or they wouldn't do it. Clemens Hecker looking really, really promising now behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He'll be pleased to see that he can match his pace. Chrome champion last year was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, but he moved up into the Titan category based on his overall performance as well. I think he finished 6th in the championship in the end. But it's a great chase here between Bradley Smith and Louis Requenco. I can tell you that Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finished within the top 7 in the championship last year, but it was his qualifying performances and his multiple race wins that also secured him that Titan classification. He's fallen away from Bradley Smith here, actually. Clemens Hecker all over the back of the Portuguese driver right now. Clemens will be loving the idea that he can get involved in this fight. Let's have a look at them previous lap times, though. Bradley Smith, 1:49.886, 1:51.3 from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He was a 1.5 seconds slower. Clemens Hecker looks to the inside and says, I want to do what you did to me. I want to dive down the inside there into turn 1. It's still Norbert Kish leading the way. Jochen Hahn second, Steffi Halm third. Antonio Albacetti and René Reinert complete the top 5 ahead of Sascha Lenz. It's been a very stable race, hasn't it? There's not been a colossal amount of position changes. As Clemens Hecker looks down the inside of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, powered down the inside by 100% renewable HVO diesel. Thank you very much, he says. He'll be really pleased with that. I wonder, with no disrespect to Clemens for making that lovely move, but I wonder whether Jose Eduardo has a developing issue here, because he was so clearly on the pace earlier to fly past everyone. As, oh, was that the bodywork coming off? Here's a shot of Jose Eduardo leaving lots of room. Not too much room to the wall. Look at that front left corner on Jose Eduardo's truck. I think, yeah, it's starting to disintegrate a little bit. It won't be that that's causing the problem. That won't be slowing the truck down that much, but parts of it definitely blew away a moment ago as he exited turn 7. And it's hanging off even further now. Look at that. The whole thing is threatening to come away. You can see that that panel is definitely separate from the middle, isn't it? Obviously means there's less to replace after a race. If it's just those individual panels, you might have quite a lot of them queued up and ready to go. Rene Reinert suddenly all over the back of Antonio Albacete again. The number 23 not quite able to stick with Steffi Halm here. Rene is looking very, very feisty with just a couple of laps to go. I wonder if Antonio's tyres have started to go off a little bit more towards the end. He had the same issue at Misano, actually, where he was attacking Steffi early in the race and the tyres went away. Rene looks down the inside, nearly makes contact with his fellow MAN. They may look very different, these two trucks, but they are both MAN chassis. And thank you to Christina, who has confirmed that Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and the team have said that he's losing water. They've got a water leak somewhere on the truck, and that'll mean that they either can't cool the brakes or they can't even cool the engine as much. Maybe the truck not behaving itself if any water is leaking onto the tyres as well, so he's not got the same grip as the trucks around him. I was going to touch on earlier on the grid on Norbert Kisch's layout of their new truck, and they've got these vertical water tanks. Usually the water tanks behind the cab in the truck have... Oh, that was close to the wall there from Antonio. Normally the tanks are laid down horizontally, but in Norbert's trucks they seem to be all upright. Not sure how it benefits them, but maybe helps for weight distribution. Either way, Antonio Albacete is going to be hoping that Rene Reinert keeps his weight distribution to himself at the moment as they head down towards turn 1. Late on the brakes goes the 77. Antonio's going to try and slot back in behind him and make a move in return, but Rene Reinert moves up into 4th place as we head on to the final lap here at the Lausitzring, round number 7 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And a nice tidy move that by Rene. Not sure if there might have been a little bit of a push into turn 11 though. I don't know if that was enough to completely unsettle things. Rene's wife loving the fact that he's made that move up into 4th. That almost looked like a bit of excitement and then, right, let's calm down now, bear with. Apparently some debris in turn 9, which I think will be Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's front left corner, as it was certainly coming away through the right-handers. And there it is, yes, that is, I can tell you categorically, that is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's front bumper. It's of no concern to this man, though, is it? Absolutely zero concerns in the Reveche Racing camp as Norbert Kisch heads round the final corner here at the Lausitzring. Has a bit of a drift out the final corner. It's like he knows we've got a camera there. He wants that one for the social media. And once again, taking his 6th win of the season, it's Norbert Kisch across the line, takes the checkered flag, flashes the lights. Jochen Hahn finishes in 2nd position. More valuable championship points for him. And 4 podiums so far this season for Steffi Halm in truck 44. Rene Reinert finishes in 4th place ahead of Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz. And behind them to take another victory in class, that's 2 on the bounce now, and get another front row start will be Mark Taylor. Louis Requenco will finish in 2nd place, and it'll be Bradley Smith in 3rd. That will mean that Louis Requenco will start on pole position in race number 2 later on this afternoon around 6 p.m. local time. And it's the same podium that we had in race 2 yesterday. in the Chrome class anyway. Here's the drift from Norby. Look at that, fantastic. These trucks with over 3 tons of their weight over the front axle make for fantastic drifting machines. I think it was the Drift, is it called Drift GP or DGP? Went to Hungary last year during the season, and Norbert Kish was there in Baloo and did a drifting demonstration of the circuit in the truck. And some of the social media clips I've seen of that are just absolutely wonderful. It's so cool. Such a tight and twisty little drift track. But Norby just knows exactly how to control that thing. As we've seen with 6 championship titles under his belt. So Norbert Kish wins. Second place going to Jochen Hahn, truck number 2. And Steffi Halm getting another podium this season. She's on a roll. Absolutely on a roll. I'm going to see as well, actually, if I can find in my 2024 standings that I was keeping track of. Steffi Halm, 7 podiums in the entirety of 2024. 3 of them coming into the last 2 race meetings. So she's almost... well, she's got more than half of that tally already. So she's having a fantastic start to her campaign. And in the Chrome class, it's Mark Taylor as well, taking his 4th class win of the year. That'll be his 5th time appearing on the podium. Louis Requenco gets another podium, that's 2 on the bounce. And Bradley Smith as well adds to his tally. 5 podiums for him as well now. But 4 second places on each occasion. Except one, actually, finishing second to Mark Taylor. Let's have a look at the overall results then, before they head into the paddock. And it's Norbert Kish who takes the win, just over 6 seconds from Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm in 3rd place ahead of René Reiner after making that move on Antonio Albacete in the final lap. Sasha Lenz in 6th place, and Mark Taylor 7th with Louis Requenco 8th. Those 2 will be on the front row for race 2 later on this afternoon. Bradley Smith in 9th, and Clement Hecker gets another overall championship point. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez unfortunately fading near the end. John Newell and Christian Ruppert complete the races in that one. Stefan Fass, another DNF for him. That's his 5th of the season in just 7 races. And Luke Garrett unfortunately not making it out onto the circuit. Norbert Kish very happy with that one. He never gets bored of winning, and can you blame him? The team and him are on an absolute roll and have been for the last few years. Davide Califano from Goodyear there, just quickly checking over the tyres. They've got their 55% sustainable material tyre this year. A quick blip of the tongue by Jochen Hahn. Another good day's work for him. More celebrations from Norby and the team. Big smile on the face of Csaba Bacco as well. And Steffi Halm, another podium. A big hug with Diana Hahn as well, and the members of Team Schwabentruck and Team Hahn Racing. And great positive feels all around for our podium finishers. Great stuff from them. We'll wait and see where Mark Taylor and the guys are as well. There's clearly a big screen down there, isn't there? Down in the paddock. That's where they've all been watching the racing from, in that little sort of pen that they've got there for all the teams. Big smiles for Jochen Hahn. And yes, of course, Louis Requenco and his team. Somehow Jochen, he already knows that they're going to be on pole position, Requenco's team, for race 2. And we're going to go down to Christina, who's there living amongst all the action.
Absolutely great scenes here, great camaraderie, and as you can see, there's the big screen up, and we are seeing everyone smiling, but we want to talk, of course, to the race winner, to Norbert Kish. Congratulations. Let's go to the sponsors wall, interview wall, as you've witnessed so many times, and also Georg Fuchs, congratulations, Norbert Kish. The music is so loud, but I hope you can understand me, because it's time to celebrate that jump at the team over there. How happy are you?
Yeah, very happy. Because, yeah, it started as a difficult weekend, and to be honest, I was not expecting ourselves to win here this weekend. which, you know, almost happened. You know, we were very close. But eventually, you know, yesterday also we took the 20 points, and now today also we took the 20 points, which is the most important and the aim for the weekend. So I am really happy about that. Dankeschön. And, you know, to increase the lead over Johan is the most important. So I think the main job is done. You know, we took the 2 times 20 points and the 2 main race victories, let's say it like that. And then, yeah, so overall happy. That is just, you know, the reverse grid race, which is, you know, always a bit crazy. We just have to try to survive.
And stay cool then and enjoy the podium first. And that Dankeschön there, that was the German word for Jochen Hahn, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can only speak German, you know, like a couple of words. So, like, yeah, Dankeschön. So,
better than my Hungarian, to be honest.
Not much more, so sorry.
So all the best.
Wonderful to hear from Norbert Kish. Dankeschön indeed. Great respect between him and his competitors, which is always lovely to see. What on earth was that flying by? Was that Bradley Smith's truck? I think it was. But still, you know, as Norby said there, they've got the main job done for the weekend, but it's great to see, you know, with no disrespect to Norby, it's great to see that even though they have such a knack for qualifying on pole, winning races 1 and 3 of the weekend, which they've done now 2 weekends on the trot, they still look over their shoulders and they know that the competition is there from Jochen and drivers like Steffi as well. Steffi Halm has been on absolute fire this morning and this weekend as well. Start of the season's been brilliant for her. Jochen Hahn, always in great spirits, isn't he, Jochen? You know, he's been doing this for so long now. He's won so many races and so many championships. And it's the same with Norby as well. They're in such high spirits about what they do. It's just, it never gets boring. Never gets boring. They absolutely love it. Big smile on the face of Norby. You could tell that he really, really enjoyed that one. And he knew that it was going to be a difficult weekend. It's the first time he's ever come to the Lausitzring to race here. And this time round, he takes some race victories as a result. And as he said, the main races, so to speak. Handing out the trophies on the podium is the head of Germany, Switzerland and Austria, the executive vice president of the DECRA Group, Guido Kuchera. Thank you, Guido, for his part in our presentations. DECRA, an important part of the weekend here at Lausitzring, as you can see, with all of the branding around the circuit. And we're going to get the Hungarian national anthem for our race winner, Norbert Kish. And another victory for Norbert Kish to go to his tally in the 2025 season. It's certainly been a solid start for him and the team. And he will once again be pleased with some big points away from this weekend. And they are going to change their caps over now, as they so often do. Unfortunate for some of our drivers not to finish that one. Stefan Faas and Luke Garrett, one not making the end and one not even making the start. And now it's time for champagne. Before lunchtime as well. Norby goes to soak the team and soak the media as well. Why not? Why not have a laugh with it? Great stuff. 3 drivers that have been on the podium many, many a time. Jochen there saying just about how slippery the floor is. And this is how the championship will look then after round number 7. Race number 3 here at the Lausitzring. Norbert Kish, the first driver this season to break 100 points, with 81 points going the way of Jochen Hahn so far. Steffi Halm on 65, 9 points clear of René Reinert despite his race win yesterday. Sasha Lenz in 5th ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who now only has 1 point over Antonio Albacete. Mark Taylor on 25, Bradley Smith on 14. Clemens Hecker gets another point as well and has 11 to his tally at the minute. Next up, we have Jonathan Andre on 7, Louis Riquenco on 5, John Newell on 4, and Luke Garrett has 2 points after his tricky start to the season once again. Onto the Chrome podium, and it's Bradley Smith taking his 5th podium of the season. Louis Riquenco certainly has some great pace here this weekend, and he takes his 2nd podium on the bounce. He'll be really pleased with that one. Before we came to the Lausitzring, his best performance was 4th place. But Mark Taylor certainly not running away with the championship at the moment, but he's got a 9-point advantage over his compatriot Bradley Smith now. 85 points for Mark. And he'll feel a bit relieved after that one because of the 2 DNFs that he had at Misano. Guido Cucchiera, like I said, Executive Vice President of the DECRA Group, handing out the trophies. Louis Riquenco really happy to get some more silverware for the campaign. And Mark Taylor receives his winning trophy. And now we will hear the national anthem. And there you go, the national anthem for race winner Mark Taylor. And they all stand on the top step together for their pictures. I'm not sure if these guys do the changing of the caps so much. We don't often see it as much in the Chrome category. No caps with them. They'll have champagne. I'm sure they might just pop a little bit. Bradley definitely knows that he wants to soak Mark, though. There was definitely a cheeky grin on his face there. But they spray everybody down there in the media pen. Cheers to one another. A quick swig from Louis and back to the paddock for some more hard work ahead of this afternoon. They've got a good old gap, though, before we go racing later, around 5 hours. And it's a good old gap at the top of the championship for Mark Taylor. He has 85 points to the 76 of Bradley Smith, with Clemens Hecker on 25. And then John Newell still in 4th place. Like I say, he's not too far away, with Louis Riquenco now in 5th. Ahead of Jonathan Andre, Luke Garrett, Christian Ruppert, Stefan Kirsch and Stefan Faas. And I believe it's just the top 10 for so far this season. It is. I should know that because I had my spreadsheet pulled up on my left-hand side anyway to have a look at. Still, let's go back down into the pit lane, shall we? And we'll speak to Mark Taylor, who's with Christina.
Yeah, he's kind of getting used to doing the Chrome Class victory interviews right now. How are you feeling after this race?
Feeling good. We're having a good weekend. The team's working hard, and it's all paying off for all our work off everybody.
Yeah, and it's so close, this championship order right now in the Chrome Class. How is it for you, competing with such a great field?
It's good. It's good to compete with good drivers out there. Everyone's on the pace and everything. We had a bit of bad luck at Misano and we ended up missing 2 races, but it's nice now to start making some points back up.
And still one more race to go. What can we expect?
Hopefully same again. We are on front row, so just keep out of trouble and keep his head down and keep going.
Thank you very much. All the best. Mark Taylor, and his trophy is with his team right now. And as he said, he stayed out of trouble. And this was a clean and a good race. And let's have a look at the highlights.
So please present your trophies.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Mark Taylor. Great to see Mark full of confidence and happy ahead of the final race of the weekend later on this afternoon. But what a great race we had there to kick off Sunday's racing action. Norbert Kirchen-Jochenhahn on the front row once again, with Steffi Halm behind and Antonio Albacete in the mix as well. The top 6 stayed in their similar order all the way through, despite the little shake and wobble here and there from some of the drivers, showing a little bit of weakness at certain parts of the circuit. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was making a good run through from the back of the pack. Unfortunately, Stefan Faas's race would be cut short once again in the troublesome Freightliner. Clemens Hecker managed to find some pace later on in the race and re-overtake Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who reported that he was losing water. But at the front, it was Norbert Kish leading the way from the get-go, breaking further and further away from Jochen Hahn in the race and the championship. It looked like Bradley Smith was going to be under pressure in the later stages, but that was to no avail, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez dropping back. Clemens Hecker making a lovely move down the inside into 6th position. Antonio Albacete would come under fire into the final laps as well, with René Reinert gradually making his way through and getting 4th position into turn 1. He would just miss out on the podium, with Steffi Halm finishing in 3rd. Norbert Kish took the win though, Jochen Hahn 2nd, Steffi Halm 3rd, and we'll be back a little bit later on. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and we'll hand back down to Christina.
Thank you very much to our commentators. And yes, Steffi Halm, this is quite a successful season for you up to now, because the last season you said, yeah, we're trying some new setups and we're trying to get there. I think you finally achieved something here. How is the truck and all the team, the work, how is it going so good?
Yeah, the season starts brilliant. You know, we didn't make much changes during the winter time, but we tried something in the test in Most. And I think it worked, because the truck is the same than last year. So I think we find something. And at the moment, I'm really, really happy, because we have more or less the pace in the qualifying. That's very important. A good start position for the race, to stay out of trouble then in the race. And yeah, I'm really, really happy, because the team is new mixed up, because some of the old mechanics left the team and some new come in. So in the beginning, it's always, you have to find each other. And yeah, for the moment, we are all really, really happy with the beginning of the season.
Oh, that sounds great that the team is coming right now together. And you're speaking about pace. How possible is it to find the pace here on this really bumpy track sometimes? Fingers crossed that it's not going to rain today.
Yeah, you know, it's a new track for everybody of us. You have just 2 times 30 minutes of free practice, so not much time to find the ideal line and also the setup for the truck. So, but for everybody it's the same, and the track is very tricky, especially the corner where we shortened the track. You have many different lines. Some lines are not so good for my truck because it's too bumpy, so I lose the grip in the braking. So everybody have to find the best solution, the best way, and here it's not so easy in some corners to find the perfect ideal line.
All the best for the last race of this race weekend, Reverse Grid. But at 5 to 6, of course, we tune in. What can we expect from your team?
I think we can expect a lot of the race, because we saw the race yesterday in the Reverse Grid, and I think it was very interesting. It was hard fighting, but fair fighting. I didn't have a chance to go through a little hole. I didn't find it. But in the end, I finished the race and take some points. But I think for today, we will start again, focus, and try to get a little bit more in front.
Thank you very much. All the best. See you later on. Steffi Halm it is. And as you can see, some fans are here collecting small itsy bits. And yeah, of course, we do restructure right now the field right now. And we have the last race of this weekend ahead of us. And isn't that beautiful? Yesterday, from my personal perspective, has been one of the best races I've ever witnessed. Clear and absolutely clean, and as she was saying, also so close. I think that the level of the drivers has improved this season. So we are glad to be here at the Lausitzring, and tune in later, won't you? Bye bye.